Hey everybody, it's Ricky with Apple Valley Farm. I'm coming to you today from a place that you don't normally see me, and that's under the hood of my truck. My alternator has gone out. I do have to replace it. It's not a huge job, but it's enough of a job that I did want to document it, and I wanted to share this with you because even if we're woodworkers, if we're craftspeople, yada yada yada, you may not be a mechanic, but occasionally, especially if you run a business, you're going to have to do some basic mechanic work. And statistically speaking, you probably have an F-150. I've got the one with the 5.4 in it. Mine's an 05. But even if you've got a 4.6, it doesn't matter. The process for this is going to be about the same. So with that, let's get right to it. Just a few basic tools, and hopefully it'll take me, even as a relatively unskilled mechanic, this will maybe be a half-hour job and we'll be done. Here we go. Okay, the very first thing we'll do is take the negative battery cable off before we do anything with the alternator. Now, this blower housing needs to come off. Don't force it. There are 4 long bolts that hold it in. These are all 10 millimeter. You will need a deep well socket to get these off. Next, the belt has to come off, so we have to put a 1/2 inch socket on the tensioner, and I use an additional wrench to give it some leverage. Pull that thing clockwise, take the belt off, and then it should be ready to go after that. Now we can move on to unbolting the alternator. These are also 10 millimeter bolts, which is very convenient. There are going to be 4 of them holding a bracket onto the top. You'll also need to take off the lead, which is that little green thing that you see kind of right there behind my hands. That is also a 10 millimeter bolt. Take that off, but you'll get the bracket out of the way, and take all of the plugs off of the alternator. The next 2 bolts are 2 more 10 millimeter bolts down at the bottom of the alternator. Now, these don't need to come completely out. You can just loosen those, and then the alternator will just slip right up. You'll probably find it's easier to take the leads off after you get it out. Then you can take the new and the old alternator. I like to compare them side by side just to make sure I've got the right thing. And in this case, we do have the right thing. So now we can put the new alternator back in place just like we took it out. Put the tighten the 2 bottom bolts back up. They need to be at about 20 foot-pounds of torque, but it might be hard to get a torque wrench in there. We're going to put the lead on the top, and we're going to start bolting down the bracket on the top too. All of these need to be about 20 foot-pounds. You don't have to use a torque wrench. I don't, and you'll see here in just a second. Once I get the socket wrench on there, instead of holding it down on the handle, hold it up at the head, and that will give you a pretty close estimate of about 20 to 25 foot-pounds of torque, and that should be plenty snug enough. Now go back in with the 1/2 inch socket and the wrench, pull this thing back clockwise, put that belt back on, make sure all the grooves line up, ease it back down, and that should be about it. This is a fairly easy process. Just to make sure that the belt is on there, it feels good and tight. I want to get the blower housing back on there, which is a pretty easy process. When you've got it off, you might want to over to the right hand side. You can't see it, but in there are usually a lot of leaves and things in there. You can get those leaves out just to help your truck breathe a little easier. Get it back on there though. Put those long bolts back in. Start them by hand, and then once you get all of those in, get everything lined up, you can go back with your socket wrench and the 10 millimeter deep well socket and snug everything up again. that should be it. And look, the truck is running. It's working. That's good. That's good. That's good. That was a pretty easy job. I just want to give everything a look over, make sure nothing looks like it's running out of line, make sure everything is connected and back where it's supposed to be, make sure everything is snug and tight, and it is. And once that is done and everything is sounding good, we can close the hood and be done. All right, that's it. It looks like I've been working really hard. I haven't been working that hard. It's just August in the South. It's dadgum hot. I'm in the truck now. I got the air going. The battery is good. The alternator is charging. We are back in business. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, give me a shout. Please like, follow, and subscribe to our channel. In addition to woodworking, we're going to be doing things like this all the time. I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for being here. We will see you next time. Woo! Yeah.